Destroy, destroy. Hi, welcome to week 12 of the I Formation. I'm Geoff Gibbons.
And I'm John Moist.
Not too bad this week. Pretty messed up week in the NFL. A few upsets, a few weird ones, you know.
Average.
Yeah, we were both in at 8-6 this week.
Yeah.
You know, which was on par. Actually, we had some of the pundits went under. A few of them went 9-5, so we're pretty much in the ball game this week. Mm-hmm. Some interesting games coming this week as a result of last week. So stick around. We're going to tell you all about it.
Hi, welcome back to the I Formation, and now we're going to start our picks for Week 12 with the Thursday nighter between Kansas City Chiefs, Oakland Raiders.
Divisional rivalry. I think Kansas City, first off, is on a short week on the road.
Yep.
They need to be careful of going into Oakland and underestimating this Oakland team, who has not won this year, but has gotten marginally better. I think, and we both agree on this, we both think Kansas City pulls this out, but I don't think this is going to be any kind of a rout. This is going to be good smash-mouth kind of football, and I think that, a game is probably settled in less than 6.
I agree.
Okay. Wow, I'm liking that. It's a whole thumbs-up thing both ways. Next, we got Tennessee going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles in this one. Tennessee is a team that's been getting better. Once another team's been getting better every week, and almost beat the Steelers there the other night, but they're on a short week here now. And Philadelphia at home, and in a very every game is important now for Philadelphia. So I see the Eagles winning this one.
All games are important now we get to this point. Zach Mettenberger, bit of a pleasant surprise. They had the Battle of Burgers last week.
Sure.
That was a 3-point game.
Yeah.
And defensively, throwing a lot of those, I think that's where the fall down was, with respect to Tennessee. And I think those blitz packages they're throwing, like you say, I think that Sanchez can handle those. I think he's shown that he has got the offensive line there to be able to get the job done in Philadelphia. And I think you're right. I think Philadelphia holds court at home. Next, we've got Cincinnati going into Houston. And Cincy looked good on the road versus the Saints last week.
They did.
They'll have to play a perfect road game, I think, to beat Houston at home, who I think we're still unsure about Arian Foster right now.
I know that Bill O'Brien has said that he's expecting him to play, but that's not confirmed.
Okay.
That he will. Yeah.
Even so, I think that Cincinnati can go into Houston. I think they're the better football team.
Yes, I agree. I think Cincinnati just has a little bit of a better team, and they should be able to handle it on the road.
I think it's close.
I do too. I think it's a field goal game. Mm-hmm. I like the Bengals as well.
Awesome. Next, we got the Jets going into Ralph Wilson to play the Buffalo Bills. That's another AFC East matchup. I think that this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think both of these teams will be able to handle each other's offense.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, like I say, somebody spoke to that today on one of the panels, saying that the Buffalo pass rush is just that little bit better.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll be able to hold Michael Vick. They win this game. I'm giving them a touchdown. I think because they're at home and they have played well. They've had some good efforts at home, right? Against Miami, some other AFC contenders. AFC East contenders, I'm sorry. So I'm saying 7 points.
Yeah, I agree once again.
All right. It's kind of scaring me a little bit. Next, we got Tampa Bay going into Chicago. This is Josh McCown's return to Soldier Field, right? I don't think it's going to be all flowers and candy. I don't think at all. It's consecutive road games now for Tampa Bay this week. And last week we saw a glimmer of the right side of Jay Cutler. And I said last week on the show that he needed to answer the critics and he needed to come up with a good game. And he had a very, very good game last week. I think that we'll see more of that this week. They just play a good, solid home game, and I think they beat Tampa Bay.
I agree.
This is,
I'm just I'm just a puppet here today.
I'm just a puppet today. He said something earlier. You'll probably hear that later anyway. Next, we got Detroit going into Foxborough to play the New England Patriots. And this is the second consecutive road game for Detroit. They do have one of the best defenses in the league, and I think that will weigh in this game. But New England hasn't been too shabby on the defensive side of the ball this year either.
They're tied for the league lead in turnover differential.
That's right, turnover differential. I could have had a job to say that. Turnover differential to me generally means a spatula and Pillsbury doll. But you're right. I just think that defensively, they play just as well or better than Detroit, and I think they've got that offense thing going on. Tom Brady's on fire.
Wow.
I just think this is a bad combination for the Lions, and I think that they're going to win this game. The Patriots are going to win this 10-plus points.
Yeah, I'll give them 10.
Yeah, all right. Next, we got Cleveland going into Atlanta to play the Falcons. Now, Josh Gordon slated to come back this week for the Browns, but I don't think that this is going to be what they need against this Atlanta team at home. I think defensively, this is where this team meets its Waterloo.
Okay.
They're going to struggle against Matt Ryan at home. And, of course, the Atlanta Falcons poised to take the lead in that division, the NFC South, at 4-6. They could go to 5-6 this week, so they're hungry.
Cleveland lost 2 defensive linemen this week, and one of them was Carlos Dansby.
Oh, Dansby went down this week.
Yeah,
He did,
right.
didn't he?
Yeah.
So that's certainly not helping in the cause. I think Atlanta at home, Matt Ryan and that dome thing, we're going back to that, but I think it's a case that they're the better team.
Yeah,
and Atlanta's look great.
Cleveland's got a pretty good pass defense. I think Atlanta might go to the ground a bit here. You might see some yardage from these guys, Jackson and Rogers.
So they're going to Jackson. Nice. All right. It's just getting back to this whole stuff again. Green Bay next in Minnesota. And I'm saying that this is discount double digits. It's as simple as that. Green Bay wins by at least 2 touchdowns in Minnesota. I think that this...
Very high scoring game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but I still think Green Bay is going to be a lot higher scoring. Take the over here, probably.
Take the over for sure, I think. And we should mention, though, that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers have put up 108 points in the last 2 weeks, which is just incredible.
It's that whole thing with Hans and France. He just pumped them up.
Yeah, I think that, as Geoff said last week, and it wasn't a popular remark to some people out there in Ontario, but I believe that
Green Bay
is the best team in the NFC right now.
I'm starting to hedge that towards the whole league right now. They are really putting it together. And we heard it here in Week 12. Next, we got Jacksonville going into Indianapolis to play the Colts. So let's see. The Colts, Andrew Luck, just lost on the road, and now they're going home, licking their wounds.
Still ranked number 1 in offense.
They did just put Ahmad Bradshaw on injured reserve, though.
Oh, okay.
That is one small piece of that puzzle.
Well, if they put Bradshaw on injured reserve and they're at home to Jacksonville, they'll only win by 20 points.
I don't think it's that far apart. I'm going to say this is closer. I'm going to say 10 points, and I'm going to say that the only hope Jacksonville has of keeping it at that, if they could keep this close for a while, if they ground and pound. They're going to have to clock manage. They're going to have to keep the ball. That's how Indianapolis lost to New England last year. Was they threw the run at them. They controlled, right? Or last week, I should say. So, yeah, I think Indianapolis wins this 10 points-ish, but it could be a little closer than we expect.
I'll say 20.
You say 20. Okay, so now we're playing cards. 10, 20, 30 for 60. Okay. Slam. Rubber boot. There's many different ways you can go about that. All right. Next is one of the 2 games that we disagree on this week, and this is for obvious reasons. As a matter of fact, I'm sort of taking on the persona that John took on earlier this year when he went on a limb on this team. And St. Louis is going into San Diego to play the Chargers. Now, first off, I want to say, I guess they do play well at home.
Yes, Paul, I believe St. Louis plays well at home.
They played really well at home this week. I know they don't win too many games here, but that doesn't mean they can't play well. They did win last week, and that was a pretty impressive statement. they're on a high now after beating Peyton Manning's Broncos. Watch Jeff Fisher to continue to impress. And I know you love Jeff Fisher and you love the trick plays. Look at the teams that they have beaten this year. They've beaten Seattle. They've beaten the Broncos. Right? That's pretty impressive. And especially against Seattle, look at the trick plays. 2 trick plays in that game. That punt is still etched in every Seahawks memory. Where they all went to one side and the guy went the other way. And that's just one of the 2. And then the fake, right? So, I mean, that kind of stuff, I think, is going to be used. This is a close game. But I think they go into San Diego and they play a good game. They upset the Chargers and they keep that momentum going. San Diego's the last couple of weeks, the last couple of games, I should say, they played. Because we had a bye in there amongst that. But I truly believe that they can hold court. They can beat these guys on the road with a good road game.
I'm going to have to go with the Chargers, and we're going to be in disagreement on this one because I think the Chargers are going to win this one by a big score. Chargers traditionally are better in the second half of the season, and I think Philip Rivers has a big game.
Well, ironically, this year they had a run in the first half of the season, then they went lukewarm. So it'll be interesting to see how that all fits together. But anyway, you heard it here, folks. There's one we disagree on.
Hope I'm wrong.
Let's get back to harmony. No. Arizona and Seattle. And this, I think, is one of the games of the week. I think this is going to be a great game to watch.
Definitely.
But you got Seattle at home, the 12th man. They're hungry. And they need to win. This division is stacked full of divisional games towards the end that are going to have serious implications for the playoffs. I mean, and Seattle losing last week kind of upset that balance and hurt their chances of being where they could, how they could potentially maybe finish or even have a shot at trying to win that division. But this is a must-win for the Seattle Seahawks. And I think that this is so tight, you don't get in without reservations, baby. I think this happens right at the end. Field goal or something very close, maybe even a safety, who knows, but it's going to be a very small margin.
It's going to be a good battle for sure, and Seattle not playing as well as they could this year, but still have the 3rd-ranked pass defense, I think, in the NFL.
And in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Marshawn Lynch has been beastier, if that's a word, than normal. He has really come out and he's played well and put big numbers up. For that
they're the number 1 ranked rush offense in the NFL, and they're up against the 3rd ranked rush defense. So it's going to be something's got to give there. And I think Lynch is the one that's going to come out on top of that because he'll just bowl over the whole team on his way to the end zone,
or take them with him.
Yeah, he could do that too. Yeah.
The whistles are a little bit longer when it comes to Lynch and that forward progress.
Yeah.
Others, we get that quick whistle right away. Well, that's right. We got to really wait till the earth starts moving or stops moving.
I compared him last week to Walter Payton. He can actually run 5 yards with 2 and 3 men on his back. He'll just keep his legs moving.
That sounds like the good old days. That's like a stat that comes from the 1920s with leather helmets. Yeah. He had 4 guys on his back and he kept moving. It's like that's pretty cool. So we're in agreement. Seattle in the close one?
Yes.
All right. Next we've got Miami and Denver, which is when worlds collide. My Dolphins going in to play the Denver Broncos in Denver. First off, let me say a couple of X factors for this game. It's never a good thing to have to play the Denver Broncos at home after losing. That's definitely a big problem. I can guarantee you Peyton Manning and everyone on that offensive line is watching tape all week.
They're going to be focused.
They're going to be very focused. I like what Fox said this past week when they talked about losing players. It's sort of the post-game interviews. And Fox came out and said, you know what? He said, yes, it hurts to lose people like Sanders, Ball, and Thomas. But at the end of the day, we're all paid to win. And it doesn't matter if you're a starter in this league or you're a replacement or an alternate. You have to have that focus. And I think that that's something that they will take with Peyton Manning's kind of, professionalism and his tenure in the league. And they'll knit that into something that'll be a positive. But also, Miami, in the last 2 weeks, has given up 9 points in total defensively. That's a pretty scary stat, too. We have Koemisi back. Cameron Wake is a beast. Olivier Burton. Like, the list goes on, right? Olivier Vernon, I'm sorry, I said.
Well, obviously, I was looking at the rankings earlier because I threw out a couple of defensive rankings already, but I think Miami now has the 5th ranked overall defense in the NFL, and it's climbing every week.
And of course, the other X factor are the depletions in that offensive side of the football for the Broncos, which includes 2 injuries and a death this week. Wikipedia reported Emmanuel Sanders as dead this week.
Really?
Yes, after that hit from safety Rodney McLeod, which was a clean hit, by the way. And we both agreed on that. I saw it, and I texted you, I remember, because you were somewhere else, and I said, real time, I said, that's a clean hit. And when we both looked at it, it was. Got a penalty for that, but I mean, it's hard to see that real time, and I understand that.
Shoulder to shoulder, good smash mouth football. Go down.
Sanders has been diagnosed with a concussion, is my understanding, in my talk today. Monte Ball is still dealing with a groin injury, and he's questionable. Also, Julius Thomas with an ankle sprain. Now, we had that real monster one there 2 years ago that caused real grief. He says it's not as bad as that, but today, both Thomas and Sanders were at practice but did not participate, but they were there. But again, you know, we live in the Bill Belichick era.
Next man up. If Thomas doesn't play, I look to Jacob Tammy to do some damage. And if Bowles not ready, then C.J. Anderson is quite capable of carrying the load on the ground.
I gave Miami an outside chance to make this close at home, but they could be getting him at the right time. Like, I mean, with the right combination of injuries, with the way things have gone, there's a couple of X factors here that are keeping this, you know, this boy in different directions. I think this is a good close game, and I think that it could go either way. But I'm going to give it. I'm going to agree with you. I think Denver wins it on the fact that they're at home and they got something to prove now after last week. But those injuries are key.
Yeah, I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's a close game. I'm going to give Denver a score, 6 points.
Okay.
And I think that because Manning is going to come into this game well studied and focused.
Well, we all know what happened to Manning last time he saw a really, really stellar defense last year. And do you see that ball sailing over his head in the first? But anyway, what do I know? Next, we got Washington going into San Francisco. And there's been a lot of drama this week around the Washington team. RG3 getting called up by his coach last week. You know, basically saying that, and one of the, somebody out there, I'm trying to remember who said it, basically said that he's not putting the effort in that he should be. And that's a kind of a scary kind of a comment to make about someone of that level. But we remember hearing things like that about Mark Sanchez when he was in New York as well. Yes. It's created an unwanted distraction for sure. San Francisco went out and won 2 games on the road in a row, which is always good. Now they're home. They've also got Aldon Smith back. That pass rush is just incredible for that team. Destroy. I think that they're going to go in there this week, and this is ugly. 14-plus points for a team that I don't have a lot of faith in, but San Francisco, and Albert, sorry about that, but I think that, this is a no-brainer when it comes to this Washington team.
I do have faith in the 49ers. I don't see the Washington Redskins scoring many points in this game. The Niners defense shows up, flattens them.
Okay. Next, Dallas goes in to play the New York Football Giants. Another classic rivalry. Take the over.
Yeah, usually.
Take the over here. That's right. This is something that, you know, I know that there's been, the Giants lost 4 in a row now?
Yeah, 4 in a row.
4 in a row. But, and also now Romo has had time to rest, which was much needed. Coming off the bye with that back injury. Expect people like DeMarco Murray to have a big game. Expect Des Bryant to have a big game. I think that they use all of their weapons, you know, effectively. But expect, I can't see past Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's going to have a big game for Manning and the Giants.
Okay.
I think last possession wins this game. I think it's that close, but I think it's like it's one of those shootouts, right? I think Dallas wins it.
Yeah, I'm going to give Dallas. I think Dallas is going to win a close one as well. I'm in agreement. Next.
It's almost like, you know, You're expecting to hear someone, why do birds suddenly
Oh,
appear?
God.
All right. Whoop! Back we go. Another game. Just as we had peace and harmony, now we have discord. Baltimore going into the Big Easy, and I love saying that. And you know that I say it every week. Baltimore going into the Big Easy to play the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans has lost 2 games in a row at home, and they have not looked good offensively. They're just not clicking. I mean, when you got the likes of the weapons that they have in Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, just to name 2 people, that should account for a solid offensive gathering. Baltimore is back to basics, and that's a team, like, that's a pretty tight division now. Like, I mean, 6-4. I think a tie separates first and last in that division right now.
Yeah.
So all of these games are big, folks. You're looking at probably, and I remember at the beginning of the year, me picking one of the wild cards to come out of that division. So I said it was going to be Pittsburgh and Baltimore will win this division. So it'll be interesting to see if Cincinnati fades and drops off. But I think that Joe Flacco goes into New Orleans and continues to capitalize on that team, their team's misfortunes at home. I think he leads the team to victory in a close one. I think he controls the play, and it's probably a field goal here. I don't see it any other way.
No. Yeah, I'm going to go with a field goal as well, and I'm going to go the other way. I'm going with the Saints. I think that Baltimore stacks up very well against the run. 3-4 defense is a great run defense, and Baltimore this year, though, hasn't been as good as I thought they were going to be in the pass defense area, and they're up against Drew Brees now, and Saints are at home and really need this game, and this is why I'm going to go with the Saints, because they're just going to throw everything out on the table and try to get it done. I think Marcus Colston or Kenny Stills, one of these guys, is going to have a big one.
And at one time, we'd be watching these 2 teams, and we'd be picking the over probably. It'd be like a 38-31 kind of deal. But this, I think, is like a 17-13 game. I just don't think there's enough offense on either one of those sides. I think it's a strategic game. I think it's all about placement. It's all about field position. And then, well, we agree to disagree.
I think Baltimore's pass defense is their Achilles heel.
Okay. Well, that's how we see it this week, folks. Stick around. We're going to tell you about our player and team of the week.
Hi, welcome back. Now we're going to make our picks for player and team of the week for week number 12 of the NFL season. Who do you like?
Actually, this is kind of interesting. I'm going with the St. Louis Rams this week, based on the fact that I think they're going to continue on and they're going to come up with that second big win. They're going to win to San Diego. They're riding high. My player of the week is actually going to be Kenny Britt. Now, Kenny Britt had a decent week last week. He went over 100 yards for the first time in receiving since December the 9th, 2012.
Really?
And this week, I mean, he's been forgotten as a realistic or a good kind of solid receiver because he hasn't had those numbers. As a matter of fact, prior to this week's game last week's game, his highest total, I think, in receiving was 69 yards for the whole year. He had a big catch. There was that nice catch that Sean Hill threw, that nice little basket catch. I think that was 60-plus yards. So that certainly made a big difference. So, and he only had a couple of catches. But I think that they're still not sure where they're going with this. I mean, Sean Hill came in mistake-free, taking the job from Austin Davis, or at least giving it a shot. I think you got to go back with him again this week, and I think that they had something there. Watch for Kenny Britt to come up with a couple of big plays again this week and help their team beat San Diego. Who do you like this week?
I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks to come up with a big win at home in a game, like you said, that it's a must-win situation for them. They're playing a team at the top of the division, Arizona, who's really been flying high this year. And I'm going to say that Marshawn Lynch has a big game on the ground. Even though Arizona has that big third-ranked run defense, I think Lynch is going to exploit him, and I think he goes for over 100 versus Arizona.
Skills for everyone, baby.
Yeah.
That's how we see it this week, folks. Make sure you come back next week and see how we did. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. Certainly send us an email at theiformation@gmail.com. You'll see all of our information in the credits. So, best of luck. Certainly, if you're out watching the games again this week, please be responsible. Don't drink and drive, and respect the game. So that's it for me this week. How about you?
That's it.
Well then. So until next week, it's good night for me.
And it's good night from him. Have fun.
I'm picking the guy whose name I don't know because that's how prepared I am.
I'm not prepared today. I'm moving.